I met this lovely gentleman, Mr. Whittlestone. He arrived in the department early in the morning, having had chest pain for over a few hours. It started about 4 a.m. in the morning. We have a process where we bring the patients in and we review them straight away as part of our streaming process. On doing the ECG, I noted that Mr. Whittlestone had some changes on his ECG. So rather than distress Mr. Whittlestone, I basically says to him that we needed to do a few more tests for him and I needed to take him to a further area where we took him through to our resource area. Following this experience, Mr. Whittlestone found that there was lots of medical jargon used by the doctors once he'd entered resource. As nurses, we do know all these medical jargons, we do know all these words, but unfortunately the patients don't always know this.
Michael, who has very kindly agreed to share his patient's story, is also my father-in-law. I had a very early call from my mother-in-law one morning to say that Michael was experiencing some chest pain and that his heart rate was at 156, which obviously is quite concerning. So I went round to their house and found my father-in-law in a lot of pain, quite pale and clammy. So I took him up to the ED department. Once we arrived at the ED department, we were quickly taken into a side room and Michael received a heart tracing, an ECG. The nurse who assessed him took a little bit of history about what had been happening and quite quickly realised that on his ECG there were some abnormal changes and wanted to transfer him to the resuscitation department. Once the assessment had been completed by ED, the referral pathway to the medical team occurred and then the medical team attended Michael's bedside. It was at this point that they started talking about NSTEMIs and STEMIs, which are different types of heart attacks, and my father-in-law didn't understand what was being said to him. This is all new terminology to him. Luckily, he was able to ask me and I could give an explanation.
Basically, I was out of it from there for a little while. Very frightened. Consultant came around in the morning and said I'd had an STEMI, which I haven't got a clue what that was. Thinking about it, I couldn't get it out of my mind. That puts a little bit of fear into you, not knowing what's going to happen next. They give me medication. It would have been nice to have known what side effects they could have. I understand what they were saying to a degree, except when they started talking into their medical language, which was no good to me because I didn't understand any of that. They do ask, is there any question, but they don't give you time to answer. So you can't ask the question because your brain isn't fast enough to catch it before they're walking back through the door. I suppose it's something they see every day, so it makes a run-of-the-mill for most of these consultants. For such as myself, it's like a thing in a lifetime which you don't want to happen again. If there's one message I would like to get across, I think it would be to have a little more time with the consultants when they come round, possibly speaking more in my language than theirs, even if it's on a leaflet that they can pass around. It gives us time to sit and read and think about it.
Obviously Mr. Whittlestone's got his own experience of how he felt on this day, and as a nurse I hope that we made him feel comfortable and safe and that we treated him appropriately.
Throughout his journey in the hospital, Michael received excellent care and treatment. As clinicians, we need to be mindful when we're talking to our patients about treatment options and medications and any changes within their health and their care, and we need to talk to them in a language in which they understand, so we are consciously not using medical jargon. It will make the patient's journey much better and they will be more inclusive in the shared decision making.